So today I'm going to go through a game I made in just 6 days. Kind of some background for what I was doing. So I thought I'd start the year off with a video and game jam. So I hosted a jam through my club and gave myself about 2 weeks to make the game. With that amount of time, I thought I'd be tackling something pretty ambitious. I'm already planning an online multiplayer game, and I thought this would be the opportunity to prototype it. And I'd also been meaning to learn Unreal with C++, so why not really go for the gold on the challenge aspect? Game jams are meant for learning, right? What could go wrong? Okay, maybe everything. Maybe trying to just force my way through Unreal wasn't the best idea, especially in a short time period. And with the networking, I completely overscoped it. Me and my psychedelic wizard were just not going to cut it. Only about a week left in the game jam, the pressure was actually on. I had to make a huge pivot and abandon my original project. But somehow, this led me to making one of my all-time favorite game projects, so far at least, and now I present you with You've Changed, an arcade monster collecting game. Why a monster collecting game? Well, the theme for the jam that I picked was transformations, and I love Pokemon, so my little brain needed no motivation to connect transformations and evolutions. But unlike my original game, I'm not an actual wizard, so I'm not going to be able to do much in the week I had left. So I'll do something a little simpler. Monsters eat, right? And what if they eat to evolve? And what if they eat different things to evolve into different monsters? And most importantly, what if food rains from the sky? I have almost zero experience with Unreal, so there was almost zero chance of me doing that within less than a week. So with Unity, I thought I stood an actual chance. When I was making the game with wizards, I had found plenty of assets for monsters and other things in the asset store, so I thought maybe I could utilize those. And so kind of my strategy was to pick some cute starter forms, because that's what they do in Pokemon, and then have some cool looking final forms that maybe aren't so cute, maybe a little ugly, maybe a little different. The game jam was winter themed, so I thought I should add something winter themed to the jam. So I got some trees and some environment assets that kind of made it look like winter. Low poly, of course, because that's the easiest to jam some things together that don't belong. And I already had some kind of low poly cartoony special effects, so I thought I could use those all together and it would make something maybe a little bit cohesive. The gameplay is simple. Food falls from the sky, and the player/monster moves forwards and backwards to catch the food. Very simple, very basic game. Might remind you of Neopets, an arcade game you played on your phone, on Facebook, whatever. Something kind of simple, right? The food is in 4 categories: veggie, carny, junky, and deadly. Each monster prefers certain types of foods, but I like games that are a bit more harsh, so eating just one deadly food immediately kills the player's monster, hence the name deadly. As you feed, the monster's fill meter increases, kind of the opposite of a hunger meter. When it reaches the max amount, the monster will evolve. All the monsters evolve. Every single one of them. Even the final forms evolve. Some monsters can evolve into multiple different monsters, or in other words, they have branching evolution. If you evolve a final stage monster, it circles back to the beginning monster, letting you try and get as many monsters in one life as you can. But I said this was a monster collecting game. So far, we're just evolving and seeing different monsters, not actually collecting them. So how did I implement the collecting method? So each time a player evolves a monster, a special value is saved within the game, or in your browser or on your computer. When the player returns to the main menu, the monsters they've seen will appear in the starting scene. So on the home screen, the monsters are in their natural state. Some are flying, some are sleeping, and some are even fighting each other. But enough about all the specifics about how I designed the game. Let's actually play the game and see what the final result was. We start the game as Ghost. Not the most creative name by any stretch of the imagination, but it is to the point. As Ghost, we have some choices. If we decide to be veggie, eating only fruit, veg, and junk food, we will eventually turn into turtle. This is my favorite path, so let's go down that route. As you can see, getting the right amount of food turns Ghost into turtle. Ghost was an omnivore, but Turtle is pure vegetarian. He no longer likes meat and will only progress in the game if you eat veggie and junky foods. But we still have some more choices that will affect who Turtle might eventually become. My favorite path ends with Clay, who goes on a bit of a fitness journey. But before then, like me, Turtle is consumed by sweet treats. If we eat enough of these, we'll turn into Bunny and then Boxer. Boxer, however, has had a bit of a change of heart, and he wants to add some fitness goals into his life, so now he'll only eat fruit and veg. This Clay Golem, or Clay for short, is one of our final 4 monsters in the game. In total, there are 6. So we've only seen one final path that the monsters can take in the game. Now that we've gotten him, the game is mostly over. We could keep collecting food, but if we ate a bomb like I just did, we would die. So once we die, we'll head over to the game over screen. So a cool feature that I enjoyed working on was that you can still see the monster where they died on the previous screen in the game over scene. If you look really closely in your eagle-eyed, you might be able to see Clay's outline or Clay's shadow. Even though Clay did die though, don't fret, this isn't the last time you'll see Clay. Now, on the home screen, you can see Ghost, Turtle, Bunny, Boxer, and Clay. The best part, to me at least, is that if I restart the game, you'll see this progress be saved. These monsters will still be there. It's not just in memory. This even works if you played the game in a browser, which was something cool that I learned. I didn't know that that would still work. It hasn't been really heavily tested, but for casual playing, I thought it worked pretty well. Reflecting on You've Changed has been a blast. The game, of course, has some quirks. It was a Game Jam game after all, but I'm really proud of the final product. I've even gone back to play it a few times in the last week, and not even for bug testing or just for making this video. And usually, I kind of struggle to enjoy a project much by the time I get to the end. I usually start to see all the flaws, and I don't really like it very much. But this one, because maybe I did it in such a short time frame, or maybe because it was much more scaled back than some of the things I usually attempt, it was more fun to enjoy. Or less serious, maybe. I guess the lesson I learned this time is not just that overscoping is bad. It is, but sometimes things don't go according to plan, and when you're flexible and adaptable to those challenges, then you can make something really creative. If I hadn't failed using Unreal, I wouldn't have even thought to make this game. I'll have to save Unreal for a future project, but until then, I'll be taking this newfound motivation and revisiting some older projects. So thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in trying out You've Changed, it's free to play on itch. Just check out the link in the comments. For any other developers out there, I've also added a GitHub link to this project's code. Check it out or even use it if you want. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to future content on more game jams and some larger scale games that are in the works. Until next time, bye!